I be out all night with the street lights. I get no days off on vacations. You inside, tell me what it be like. The fake love never did change me. I be out all night with the street lights. I get no days off on vacations. You inside, tell me what it be like. The fake love never did change me.
All these people falling off like they dominoes, chilling at the formal and designer clothes. I be politics.
So you've done your research, you've done your homework, you've learned everything you possibly can about the care requirements of the ball python. You have your snake's new enclosure all set up. You got the temps dialed in, you got the humidity dialed in. Now you're ready to go out and buy your first ball python. Let's talk about what you should actually look for when you are about to purchase your first ball python. So now that you're ready to actually go out and buy your first ball python, let's talk about where you should actually buy one from. I recommend that you either purchase your ball python from an experienced ball python breeder like myself, or from a pet shop that actually specializes in reptiles. The reason that I recommend this is because usually ball python breeders or employees that work at a specialized reptile store will usually have great knowledge of the species that you want to purchase, and down the road they may actually be able to lend you advice and be able to help you with any health issues that may arise, since they have a lot of experience and knowledge regarding the ball python. So I recommend going through either of those avenues to actually purchase your first ball python. So one of the criteria to actually selecting a ball python when you're first looking to purchase one is you want to look at the ball python's overall appearance and behavior. When you're actually looking at the ball python that you're considering purchasing, you want to make sure that the snake looks healthy, alert, and robust. When you take a look at the ball python, look to see that it's flicking its tongue like this girl is. That means that the snake is alert, it's thinking, it's trying to figure out what's going on. Also make sure that it has good muscle tone like this girl, some good body weight to it. That's all indicators that it is a healthy snake and that it's going to do well under your care. Also, guys, be sure to take a look at the eyes of the snake and make sure that they look clear, they don't look crinkled, and there's no stuck shed on the snake as well. And also take a look at the mouth, nose, and heat pits. Make sure there is no mucus coming out. Make sure there's no excess saliva or anything weird that you wouldn't see in a healthy example of a ball python. When purchasing the ball python, guys, I always recommend to people that they should take the snake out and actually hold it at the shop they're at or with the breeder that they're at, whether they're at a show or the breeder has invited them to their facility to actually come and check the snake out in person before they actually purchase it. Now, when you have the snake in your hands, pay attention to its body. Feel its body, make sure that it doesn't have any sort of lumps or anything like that along its body. This could indicate broken ribs or anything like that. The snake should be strong and robust. It shouldn't be limp or weak or skinny looking. Look at how thick and robust this girl is. Ball pythons are thick-bodied snakes, so you want to look for a snake that is thick-bodied. She's nice and strong. She's gripping onto me like she should be. She's flicking her tongue. She looks nice and alert. But you definitely want to pay attention to the snake as you're holding it in your hands. These are all great indicators of a healthy ball python. Definitely feel its body. Make sure that it doesn't have any lumps or anything along its spine or along the sides of its body. Make sure it feels like it's got good muscle tone to it. And these are all indicators that the snake is healthy if you don't find anything upon holding the snake of that nature. Also, look at the skin of the snake, guys. The skin of the ball python should be clear and free of any blisters or wounds or any sores of anything like that. Also, guys, pay attention to if the snake has any sort of parasites on it, like ticks or mites. Mites are one of the most annoying things to try to eradicate from a snake, especially if they spread to other snakes in your home. So you always want to be sure that the snake does not carry any mites. Usually the mites will look like little poppy seeds all over the snake, and they're crawling on the snake or embedded in the skin of the snake. They actually suck the blood of snakes. Also, mites like to cluster right around the eye of the snake. So pay attention to that when you're observing and inspecting the snake that you might potentially take home as your new pet. It's very important that you don't bring mites into your collection because they can spread diseases to the other snakes, and it's just a bad situation, and it's also a very difficult situation to manage and get under control. So make sure that you definitely observe and inspect the skin of the actual snake that you're considering purchasing. Another way to check for mites, guys, on a snake is after you hold the snake, put it down or give it back to whoever gave it to you and actually check your hand to see if you have any black specks on your hand. Usually this is an indicator that these are mites and they are on the snake. Now, mites are much harder to see if you're getting a darker colored snake than they are on a lighter colored snake. So this is a really good way to check for mites if you are buying a snake that is darker in coloration. This is one of the best ways to determine if a snake has mites, because mites, if you rub a snake that has mites on it, usually some of the mites will be on your hand. So this is a really good way to check for mites and to make sure that the snake you're buying doesn't carry any sort of mites or ticks. Another really important question to ask the seller that you're considering purchasing your ball python from is, what has the snake actually been feeding on? Has it been feeding on mice? Has it been feeding on rats? Has it been feeding on African soft-furred rats? Has it been eating live food? Has it been eating frozen thawed food? These are all very important questions because it's going to help you with the actual success of taking care of your animal and feeding your animal. Because if you're actually offering the snake the wrong prey item, you may have trouble getting the ball python to actually eat for you. So this is very important to ask the seller, and it's part of the criteria that you should look for when you're actually going and purchasing your first ball python. If you're actually getting the snake shipped in from a ball python breeder, it's a little bit more difficult to actually visually inspect the snake in person until you actually get it. But something that you should definitely do is ask the breeder for a lot of pictures of the snake, ask for pictures of its face, of its body, and these are ways that you could actually inspect the snake and make sure that everything looks good. You could even ask them to send you some videos of the actual snake moving around, doing its thing, and most breeders who are professional and who are reliable or accreditable will have no problem sending you things like this, because they want to ensure that you get a healthy animal and that you have success with your ball python. The main reason why I made this video for you guys is because I want you to have success keeping your first ball python, and I want you guys to choose a healthy ball python so that you can have success keeping them and that you have a positive experience with your first pet ball python or your first pet reptile, because reptiles can be very, very difficult to take care of if you don't know what to look for and you don't know what to do right off the bat. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're thinking about getting a ball python, always do your research. Always know what you're getting yourself into before you actually buy the animal. This is very important. If you guys like this video, please hit the subscribe button. Please smash the like button. Drop a comment and let me know your thoughts about what we talked about today. I will see you guys soon. Peace.